Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton, Rockfile, back with another podcast review, this time of an older PC game. Well, it was also on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. We're going to talk about 2010's Singularity. I mentioned this game to a few people, and they're like, I don't remember that game. Oh, maybe I kind of... It's a very, very good first-person shooter. We're going to talk about it. I am a huge fan of first-person shooters. When Doom came out, when Wolfenstein came out, Wolfenstein 3D, I was in college. Some Air Force ROTC guys traded me the game for something I had, Rendezvous with Rama, or Text Adventure, or something like that. And that was our first introduction into, it was 2.5D. It wasn't full 3D, and Doom technically wasn't full 3D either. But that was the beginnings of first-person shooters that we have today, most of which are now multiplayer games and tend to be military games. But there was a long, long history of single-player, story-driven first-person shooters. Doom gave way to the Quake series. The guys behind this game, Raven Software, made Heretic, if you played those offshoots of Quake and Doom. But due to some delays in getting Singularity out in 2010, they had to lay off a lot of their staff, and pretty much ever since then, they've been working on Call of Duty games. That's why you might recognize Raven Soft or Raven Software. But they were known for making beautiful, gorgeous games based on id Software engines. And so I remember when Singularity came out, I had an Xbox 360 and a PlayStation 3, and I'm pretty sure I played it on both. Mostly on the PS3, because that was my main driver. It was my Blu-ray player, and I remember finishing the game in about 15 hours, loving it, and wanting to play it again. At the time, it was very much ahead of its time. The storyline is basic. Off the coast of Russia, on this island, a power wave happens, an explosion of a type that knocks out a satellite, so we send in a military team to investigate. And there's another energy explosion which wrecks your craft, and you're trapped on the island. And because of it, you jump back and forth between 2010 and 1955. In 1955, the scientists on this island discovered an element that made time travel possible, or at least time manipulation. And so your character, throughout the course of the game, flashes back and forward between the two times, and you're able to play and shoot the weapons and all that kind of stuff between the two. And that makes for a variety. You're playing in the same base, obviously, but different time periods with different bad guys and different tactics, and that's very interesting. And you always have different goals to satisfy. And for a shooter, only 15 hours, it's got a lot of story elements and a little bit of RPG elements where you upgrade not only your weapons, but yourself and your time dilation device. And that was the unique thing about the game. You can point your device at certain things in the game and send them forward or back in time. Say a staircase has fallen apart due to time. You can rewind the time on the staircase and it works again and you can use it. So this is a gameplay mechanic used in the game to make it a little bit different than your standard shooter. You're not just running around shooting things, you're doing other things. And the first time, spoiler alert, that you fix something big, like you take a whole ship that's underwater and old and decrepit, and you pull it up with this time manipulation device and bring it back to where it's seaworthy, and you can get on the ship and go investigate the ship. It's a great scene. There's a lot of great acting and great scenes in this for a game that is 10 years old. And like I said, I remember playing it on the PlayStation. I'm pretty sure I played it on the Xbox, and somewhere down the line, I got a copy on Steam. Probably during one of their sales. I will occasionally pick up games that I know I can play in the future on computers if it's something I really enjoyed. And it's, sometimes Steam has a sale where you get it for $1 or $2 or whatever. And I save these games, and eventually one day I figured I would download them and replay some of them. Well, that happened recently. I saw Singularity and went, you know what? I remember that being a great game. Let me download it and replay it. And if you own something on Steam, you always own it. So I downloaded it to my modern computer with an SSD. So I have a very fast drive. I have modern 16 gigs worth of RAM. I have a modern video card, but my processor and my motherboard are actually a little bit older. This was more of a workstation machine and one of the early multi-core processor machines from HP that I have Frankenstein over the years and pretty much changed everything but the motherboard and the processor. So it can run older games smooth as glass. A game that's 10 years old, I am running Singularity, which was released by Activision. It was a major AAA title. I'm running it in full settings, full ultra settings at over 1080p, close to 4K. I'm definitely 1440. The game looks and plays great. The gameplay is smooth as silk. I mean, really, the shooting, changing weapons, reloading, everything, it's just like butter. This was a game that came after the long process of upgrading and evolving first-person shooters, and this, for its time, cutting edge. The time dilation device adds a unique wrinkle to the gameplay, and it doesn't look that old. Animations are a little stiff, but other than that, running it in high resolution with ultra settings, the game looks fantastic. Explosions, particle effects, it's amazing how good older games that have been patched and kept up can look on modern hardware. So if you get a chance to pick it up cheap and you like first-person shooters and you're not, it does have multiplayer modes, didn't play them, don't know how they work, if they still work on modern equipment. But the gameplay was another 15 hours. That's all it took me. It took me about a month to finish it because I don't play all the time. And it was really, I enjoyed the story because I had forgotten enough of it to make it interesting. I enjoyed the gameplay, and I'm a big fan of first-person shooters. So if you never played it, well, you're in for a treat. You can pick it up cheap these days for modern PCs. You could probably get it in PlayStation Now or the Xbox Game Pass or whatever they call it. It was a pretty big Activision game at the time. Got really good reviews, but it took a while to come out, and that basically caused not quite the demise of Ravensoft, but made them lose a lot of staff and now make them pretty much a one-title-only company, which is a little unfortunate because I really enjoyed their stuff. But going back to Singularity, very much a not just a flashback. It was, I play a lot of modern games, and this one didn't feel out of place. It was a lot of fun. Check out Singularity, available on PC, on Steam, and a few other downloadable sites. And like I said, you could probably get it for PlayStation and Xbox in their retro, backward-compatible systems. However, they're doing it on whatever system you have. I'm Scott Hamilton. I'm Rockfile. My website is therockfile.com. It's got links, as there is below, to all of my other projects. Please check them out, subscribe, share, and thank you very much for listening to a rambling 2010 first-person shooter podcast. Have a great day.